everyone. Welcome to the Cagesiders. I'm Jeremy Long, along with my co-host, as always. They call him Dim Sum, but we call him the Coach, and he's here with us. Coach, good to see you, man.
Thank you.
Little racist to start out, but
yes,
that's it.
that was my racist colleague here. But do you like the shirt I'm wearing? How cool is this?
I like it.
Now,
Phone Booth Fighting, one of my favorite podcasts.
It is definitely. And you know what I would like even better is if somehow we could magically make these figures pop out and actually come in studio. What do you think?
I believe in magic. I believe in the Cavaliers. So it happens.
Okay.
It happens. So we may just get our wish after the break.
Well, speaking of wishing, I saw Mayweather McGregor's first press conference today, right?
Yeah.
And McGregor's sitting there, and he's wishing that he's going to knock out Floyd in 4 or less, which is something that we haven't seen in forever. What I did like, though, and now, because I made the prediction that I thought Floyd was going to knock him out in within 3 rounds, I have to change it now. I still think that Mayweather is going to knock him out. I think it's going to be about 9 rounds now, because I think that Floyd actually kind of got under his skin a little bit today. So it was fun. It was fun to see how Floyd pretty much came out and ruled as the king that he is in boxing. I did think that it was awesome that McGregor just seems to have already thought he already won because he's getting paid $100 million. So, but you tell me, what do you think, Mr. McGregor?
I think you and I watched 2 very different press conferences.
Okay.
Did McGregor win? Absolutely. He's already won. He's duped the entire world into making $100 million in a boxing match that he has no chance in winning. But
so you still think he has a chance?
I still think
even
Mayweather's
Floyd said he has a chance.
Oh, yeah, everyone's
Floyd
got a
even
chance.
said, I'm 40, I'm older, I'm not even the same fighter that I was 2 years ago.
He's selling the fight, man. He's selling the fight.
You're not buying into it.
What surprised me, though, what really surprised me is that the crowd was very pro-McGregor. They loved and ate up everything he did. You could pinpoint the different parts in the press conference, but it was very much an MMA crowd. And it was so different than the boxing pressers of, the last few years and everything, outside of the Mike Tysons of a few years ago where it got really, really crazy. I think the guys, the boxing guys from Showtime and everything else, everyone who spoke, they were just kind of thrown off by it because it's not the buttoned up order of the day where boxing is, where it's kind of more relaxed. MMA, it was kind of crazy at the Staples Center.
No, it kind of reminded me a little bit of maybe not as grand and as big as Canelo Alvarez versus Mayweather. That press conference was huge. I thought the Pacquiao versus Mayweather, that press conference was huge. I thought it was, again, the most telling thing to me is when McGregor went on stage and he said, "We did it." So it's almost like saying, "Hey, I made it to the Super Bowl, and that's good enough for me." and to me, I'm like, nah, man, because the fact that
he's already won.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the fact that Floyd Mayweather is sitting there telling him, or telling everybody, this kid's got a chance. I'm older. I'm not the same fighter I was. And he really, the coolest thing I thought Floyd said is, I'm not the same fighter I was 20 years ago, not the same fighter I was 10 years ago, not the same fighter I was 5 years ago, not the same fighter I was 2 years ago, but I got enough to beat you. And he also said, I am going to knock you out. So I'm still sticking to Floyd Mayweather knocking him out.
I like it, though. I like to see where it goes from here. They got 3 more press stops. Of course, Toronto, London,
New York, London.
New York and London. So we'll see where it goes from there. But I liked it. I think it kicked off in great fashion. I think the fans who turned out got exactly what they want. And they're willing to fork over that $99.95 for a high-definition pay-per-view.
I'll pay it.
Yeah, you will pay it. All right, after the break, we're going to come back with Phone Booth Fighting's very own Richard Hunter.
Right, but first we're going to talk to King Mo. A little bit
we'll
of Bellator
to
action.
Mo
We're not just all about UFC people. Cool Bellator action.
Okay, we'll do that too. After the break, stay with us.
Welcome back, Cagesider fans. I'm here with the legend, Mr. King Mo, Muhammad Lawler. Am I saying that right?
It's Lawal. It's Lawal. But the thing is, I ain't no legend, you know what I'm saying? I'm just.
Oh, come on.
No, legends is like Sakuraba, Hoist Gracie. Yeah, I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? No legend. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
Now we've talked about this before because you've been a huge Bellator staple, and this is something you and I kind of talked about off camera, where I was saying, well, everybody knows who you are because everybody's synonymous to your brand, King Mo, the Crown, you know, and the whole bit, right? And that's you. And man, you did a solid against Rampage on that last fight. You beat the hell out of it.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was a tough fight because I was dealing with the issue, you know what I'm saying? But I had a little hip issue. Still fought. After the fight, had the surgery, got taken care of, and now I'm ready to go, man. That surgery I had recently was the best surgery I ever had, man.
Man, that's awesome. And I do want to talk about that. You know, King Mo was sidelined. We had him on our podcast, and we talked about how you were supposed to fight Bader. Yeah. Then you got the injury. Now you're feeling better. Here you are at Mayweather Gym, getting your training on again. I know you're about to head back to Miami, but you said you're going to come back here for your full training camp. So how is everything going? How are you feeling? And how soon do you think you'll be back in the cage?
Well, I'm feeling good. I'm going to come back for a pre-camp. I do things called pre-camps where I'll come out and I'll spar for like a week, 2 weeks straight. I'll get anywhere from 50 rounds in a week to like 60 rounds a week, you know what I'm saying? And I'll do about 150 rounds of skills training, like mitts, bag work, double in bags, speed, all that, just to jumpstart my training,
right,
my cardio. And then when I start camp, I can cruise a little bit and pick when I want to pick it up, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. Well, you know, I've always been a big Bellator guy, and I love Scott Coker. I think that's one of the best moves Bellator ever did. I'm from the Bay Area. Scott was doing all his shows over there with Strikeforce and everything. So how do you like the new boss, and how do you like the things? I mean, you guys just had the banner event with Bellator NYC, so talk to me about that.
Man, look, Coker's the man. Like this, Coker's like, think about this. Coker's like Suge Knight, how Suge Knight was. Remember back in the day, when Suge Knight had a video, he was in the back. You would never notice, so he kind of stayed quiet. And he let the rappers do the rapping, you know what I'm saying, do their thing and showcase their skills. That's how Coker is. You don't see Coker bashing no fighters. You don't see him speaking on nothing unless he's pressed to speak on it, you know what I'm saying? But Coker is chill, man, you know.
Is he kind of like an Al Heyman, like just in the background, do his thing?
Yeah, he's kind of like Al Heyman, you know, he's pretty like, but kind of more personable, because Al Heyman's kind of like a black vampire. You don't see him. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, then tell me some of the exciting things that's happening next, because I know that Bellator, you have a fight this week. It's in Oklahoma, and then you guys are going to Verona, New York, right? You're probably not going to be in either one of those, so I'm going to ask, are you going to be in San Jose September 23rd? Is that maybe the target date?
Well, I might go. It depends on what my training's looking like, because if I'm training hard, I don't like to go to the fights too much. I like to stay focused, stay at home, and stay on that grind, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Now, opponents-wise, because this week was a big week. Gegard Mousasi came over from the UFC, and I know he could fight at 205 if he wants to. Obviously, he's a 185er, and he could. I think he can even go to 170 and fight maybe Rory. Probably not, right?
Rory has to bump up the fighter.
Okay.
You know, Gegard's he's a very talented fighter. You know, maybe we can run it back again sometime. You know.
Okay.
But you know, there's a lot of people there. I'd fight Gegard. I'd fight Mitrione.
Mitrione, wow, okay.
I would fight Lynn Vassell. I would fight Bader, Phil Davis, Frank Mir. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
If he gets signed, I'd love to fight Frank Mir, because you know, he can fight.
That's awesome. Now let me ask you that, because you're such a huge staple to the Bellator name. Who are some of the people now that Mousasi's coming over, and a lot more people have been coming over, like Rory McDonald? What are other names that you want to see come over? Like you just mentioned Frank Mir.
For me, it makes no difference who comes over. People come over for a reason. They come over for money, respect, or they like the brand, they like something about it. And I just want people to come over, they're talented, and they're believers of pushing something to a different level. And if they have that in their mind, like Bader and like Mitrione and Fedor and that dude, then we can do something. But if they coming in like, oh, it's gonna be easy money, I don't care how much of Bellator, I'm just get paid, get my checks, then you know what? They'll get beat, and they'll get cut, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. Now, last thing. Now, they're doing the big Mayweather-McGregor week. Here you are at TMT Gym. You think Scott would ever allow something like that? Like maybe let King Mo come over to boxing and fight, I don't know, like I'm trying to think who would it even be for someone like you, because I know you don't care about fighting heavyweight, or like would he let you fight like a Tyson Fury or something? Or?
I'm gonna be 100. Let's be 100. I'd fight. I'm a fighter. I'll fight wherever. Any rules, if I can understand them and follow those rules, I'll fight somebody. But I could do boxing, but I get beat, I would get knocked out. If I'm lucky, I could go at least 4 rounds. I could last 3 or 4 rounds. I've been beat up by the best, like Brian Jennings, Trevor Bryant, Luis Ortiz, Eddie Chambers, Alan Green, Tabiti, Hunter. They've all kicked my ass. So
right, but we're talking sparring, not for real.
Yeah, but if it's for real, it's worse, because sparring, we're with 18-ounce gloves. Imagine wearing 10-ounce gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm catching the business with 18-ounce gloves. I'm going to definitely catch the business with 10-ounce gloves.
Yeah, so then you're saying McGregor has 0 chance. No matter how much money he's putting into his camp, no matter who he brings in, he's bringing in Paulie Malignaggi.
If I was him, I'm going to waste my time. I keep the money. I don't. For what? It's like this. Imagine if Floyd fought Conor in MMA.
Yeah.
Floyd could bring in whoever he wants. He could bring Marcel Garcia.
He could bring you in.
He could bring me in. He could bring Tyrone Spong. He could bring in everybody. And guess what? It still ain't gonna help because there's not enough time. There's a gap, man. It's a gap. You have to respect the sports, man. I remember years ago. Remember Contenders? There's a thing called.
Yeah, I remember.
Not the boxing one.
No.
It's different.
Oh.
Where they're the best wrestlers, Olympic wrestlers, in the United States, face the best grapplers in America in their grappling match.
Oh, yeah.
Every wrestler got submitted. Kevin Jackson, Kenny Monday. I mean, beast wrestlers, like Olympic medalists, Olympic champions, world champions. They got smashed by these grapplers in a grappling match. It's a different world, man. You know, it's a different sport.
Different sport. Well, that makes sense to me. I'm glad you're back, dude. I think you're one of the most exciting people to actually watch. I think you know how to promote a fight. I think you know your brand. I think that you're synonymous with the Bellator name. I'm excited because you know there's some people that we might want to go to Bellator,
Yeah,
right?
man, hey, look, Frank Mir, talk to Bellator. Let's get a good deal. Let's try to make something happen. And then once you sign, we can fight, or you can fight whoever. Let's do something, man. Let's get money. Let's get paid. Man, Bellator will push you right, you know what I'm saying? I know you want to get branded right, and everybody knows who you are, but they can rebrand you, repackage you know what I'm saying? And you can come get this money, and we have big name fights for you, as well.
Man, that's awesome. Now, one last thing. Big news with the women. Scott Coker finally opened up 125, right? So that's the big thing. You guys got Letourneau from the UFC. She's fighting this week over at Bellator.
She pulled out due to injury.
Oh, did that? Okay.
But they can win that. They can run that back because the girl she's fighting, Emily, is a beast. Emily ain't no joke.
She can fight.
She can fight.
Okay.
She can fight. She can fight her ass off, and she can punch. She's a good wrestler, good grappler. And you know, Valerie got injured, so maybe once Valerie gets healed up, they can run it back.
They'll run it back.
Yep.
Did they do anything to make that up for that fight or nothing? You didn't hear nothing about nothing.
No, nothing really. Just
okay. All right. Any of the other women that you see kind of coming up that you'd like to see at the Bellator?
Anna.
You want to see Anna Hulton at Bellator?
Definitely. You know, but listen.
Tell Anna why you want her to go to Bellator.
Anna, you should come to Bellator because we could. You know what? It's Bellator first. We're about fighters. You know what I'm saying? We'll push you, market you right, get you the right fights so that you look great, and then you can fight Heather Hardy. You can fight. We got a bunch of girls at 125 she can fight. You know what I'm saying?
How about that Russian girl? Do you like that girl? That Anastasia?
She can fight Anastasia. She can fight Veda Ortega. We got some girls. We got some women. Not girls. We got some women that can really fight. So I think that they'll do a great job of marketing. She's, you know, marketing to Asians and up in San Jose. She's
right.
the Bay. And
Anna's from the Bay.
And the Bay, San Jose don't play when it comes to fighting. I think that she could be the next, real talk, I think Anna could be the next Kung Lee type
really?
fighter. Yes.
Huh. Can I ask you, what do you like about, like, when you've seen her, and you saw some of her fights at one championship, but you've seen a lot of her boxing, and you've seen her train. What do you like about her?
Okay, first of all, she's easy on the eyes. She's very pretty, great smile, but she's vicious. That's one thing you can't forget. She's vicious, great combos. Honestly, she's probably the top 2-3% best boxers in MMA. And guess what? They're all boxers. Like, you know, her,
Holly
Holm, Heather Hardy. They're all female boxers. So the best boxers in MMA are all female.
Wow. So you heard that, Connor. So even better than Connor, huh?
Better than everybody. Better than all of us. Because guess what? They've had boxing experience. Like, if I were to actually move around with Anna, she'd put hands on me. You know what I'm saying? But I take her down, the elbow.
You're gonna have to show her how to do some of that King Mo stuff like you did the Rampage.
No, but Anna's a beast. I feel like she gets with Bellator. Bellator will push her, and she'll be the next Kung Lee. The female version of Kung Lee. Straight up.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, it's always fun having this conversation with you. And when you do come back here to train at Mayweather's, then maybe we can
Like this. Every time I come back in Vegas, I will do y'all show.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Y'all heard it first.
You heard it. Cagesider fans, you can always count on King Mo right here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back for more Cagesider fans.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Cagesiders. Jeremy Long, along with the coach, Angelo Reyes. We're joined in studio right now with a very, very special guest, Richard Hunter from the Phone Booth Fighting Podcast, among other things. I mean, you have such a decorated career, man, just covering MMA.
Some say checkered, but decorated is probably a nicer way to
it's got to be
I'll
nice.
tell you one of my favorite. He is the head. Are you the head PR man for the Bunny Ranch? Is that correct? All right.
Yeah.
So we need to talk after this.
Yes. For any Cagesider fans who'd like to get a hold of Richard Hunter, phoneboothfighting.com. He takes calls. No, so actually, Richard, we have you here because you're going to tell us about what was International Fight Weekend like. You were there for Gaethje versus Michael Johnson, and then you asked that really cool question to Dana. I think that was the #2 question right off the gate. So tell us.
Yeah, the next night, the post-fight press conference. Well, it was International Fight Week, guys, this past week, and year in and year out for the UFC, that's usually the biggest week of the year. In years past, there's been the big Fan Expo convention. Sometimes there's been, I think the original plan was maybe like 3 consecutive nights of fights. This year, due partly to injury, it didn't maybe have quite the star power attraction that it's had in years past. Of course, Conor's out for a couple of months focusing on boxing. The main event was supposed to be Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko. Nunes fell out with an injury literally hours before the fight, so one of the 2 title fights is off the card. Still, it was a great night. Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero had a great fight, with Whittaker ended up winning the interim men's middleweight title. But the night before was really kind of the show stealer,
right?
And that's what you alluded to. It was the Ultimate Fighter finale, and the headlining fight was perennial lightweight contender Michael Johnson, long associated with the Blackzilians, taking on Justin Gaethje. And a lot of the more casual fans didn't know Justin Gaethje's name. He was a guy who held the title over in World Series of Fighting, based here in Las Vegas, an undefeated fighter, guy who puts on exciting fights, knockout power, especially for a 155-pounder. And this guy goes in and did exactly that. Finishes Michael Johnson, but was finished himself almost several times in the fight. I mean, 2 rounds of terror. It was a lot. We were all saying in the press tent, for a lot of us, it's our fight of the year candidate so far. I mean, we're halfway through the year, but it definitely reaches that status level. And what Angelo was alluding to when I was talking to Dana White in the post-fight press conference, I said, Conor McGregor, the lightweight division is the Conor McGregor. The whole UFC is a Conor McGregor show right now, but especially the lightweight division, right? And Conor casts a very wide shadow. But with him being busy for the summer with boxing, he's away from the UFC. This is a great opportunity for one of these lightweight fighters, to not only step up, but as best they can dominate that division in his absence. So when he comes back, they're not an unknown factor. Justin Gaethje may not be a known name at the beginning of the summer, but by the end, he could be a guy that Conor McGregor has got to reckon with when he comes back.
Man, it's a really great point, right? Because you were talking to us off camera about Gaethje might be one of the coaches for the
there was some reporting about that today, that for the next season of The Ultimate Fighter, that Justin Gaethje could coach against either Kevin Lee, who is coming off a win over Michael Chiesa, so he's a top contender, or possibly Eddie Alvarez, former champion. So I think either one of those combinations would be great, but I think that the real positive here for Gaethje is that not only is he immediately considered probably a top 5 contender at this point, but that the UFC wants to use their Ultimate Fighter franchise to familiarize fans with him to build toward that fight. So that's a real positive indicator for him.
Wow.
I like the thought of that, man. Justin Gaethje, when I saw that news, and I saw that news too, my immediate thought was, what is he going to coach him on?
That's true.
And
right?
it's not to down Justin Gaethje.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just,
not at all.
Well, a lot of times, and my partner Frank Mir can talk about this because he coached a season of Ultimate Fighter and has assisted on another. But a lot of times it's about the assistant coaches that the guys bring in and things like that.
Right.
It is going to be a unique experience for Justin in the sense that you're talking about putting somebody in there who they themselves have had all of one fight in the UFC. But he's, I think, 18-0 now. So he's had a big enough body of work that a lot of the guys he's going to be coaching aren't going to have anywhere near that level of expertise.
Right, and coaching them on different styles because his style may not be. His brawler style is definitely not for everyone, but it still would make an interesting season, especially Kevin Lee, who's has a great personality and just. Also has a great body of work.
I think Justin's got a great personality for this too. One of the things coming away from this weekend, and particularly his part of the post-fight press conference, was I said, he talked and acted like he belonged here. A lot of times, you'll see guys who make their debut in the UFC, even if they're coming from another organization where they've had a fair number of fights, and even though they physically are meant to be here, there's you hear about octagon jitters and all that with UFC, and there's still kind of a I can't believe I'm here, I'm happy to be here. His approach was exactly the opposite. His approach was, damn right I'm here. I can't believe it took anybody this long to get me here, but now that I'm here, everybody's in trouble.
Right. Yeah. And UFC debut, banking $300,000, not bad.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit for the guy.
Well, I know you guys are going to be talking about this more on phoneboothfighting.com and Amanda Nunez fallout and all of that. Yeah. Tell us about you being a promoter, though. So from what I understand, you own Real Water, something like that.
It's a tremendous conflict of interest that we've created here. Myself and my podcasting partner, Frank Mir, one of our sponsors on the podcast is Real Water. And we've been drinking Real Water for, I think, well over a year now. Probably they've been supporting the podcast. Well, another thing that Real Water does is they own an amateur mixed martial arts promotion here in Las Vegas called Real MMA. It's mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, a great amateur event, and they put on events every couple of months over at Sam's Town Casino here in Las Vegas.
Right.
We got another one coming up July 21st, and I say we because as of a couple of months ago, Frank and I became minority owners in the promotion. So through some miracle, I cleared the stringent screening process of the athletic commissioners, and they accepted both of us. So we're promoters and partners in it. Right. July 21st at Sam's Town is our next event, and one really cool thing that we're doing with this is Shannon Knapp, who is the president of Invicta Fighting Championship, the all-female league, has offered a 3-fight contract to the winner of a female 125-pound flyweight tournament that we're doing over the summer. So it's an 8-woman tournament. One of the semifinal fights is going to be on that July 21st card, so fans can come out and watch it. And at the end of the summer, one of the ladies is going to get that 3-fight contract with Invicta. We'll have Shannon out to present it to them, and then next time you see them, they'll be making a pro debut in Invicta.
Wow, that's cool. Sam's Town, we got to go there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, that's incredible news.
You're in good with the promoter, so I think we can get you guys approved for media credentials.
Well, are you going to do us dirty like UFC, put us on the very top of team?
No. Media row for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm just going to add in there, you're a very handsome man. Very regal. If we get a skate side, we'll say anything.
Good spots for you guys. Wear that shirt.
All right. Thank you.
Richard, thank you so much for joining us and
pleasure.
giving the insight. And again, you can catch phoneboothfighting.com, catch all their past episodes, all future episodes. You guys do it twice a week.
Twice a week, absolutely.
Twice a week, absolutely. You're going to catch all the breaking news between you and Frank and everything in between, man. So I like it, man. It's one of my favorite podcasts. So stick around. After the break, we're going to have more from the Cagesiders.
Welcome back, Cagesider fans. We're having a great episode today, and here we are at UFC Green Valley Gym, one of my favorite places to be at when I'm here in Las Vegas. And with me is the head coach, Joseph Haycox, here at UFC Green Valley Gym. I just wanted to introduce him to you guys so that you know if you ever come to Vegas and you want to go check out a UFC gym, this is the man to see. Joseph Haycox, thanks for joining us in the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about why I like this gym so much? Like, what kind of stuff are you doing over here?
We do boxing, we do kickboxing, we do mixed martial arts, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We have professional fighters that train.
Obviously.
Well. We do DUT, which is daily ultimate training. We also do UFC Fit, which is fitness interval training. We all base our training off of high-intensity interval training as well. But, yeah.
No, it's pretty fun stuff, right? And every once in a while, we get people here like a Yair Rodriguez coming in, a Frank Mir coming in, Anna Hultan's coming in. Like I don't know, man. Maybe you know a coach or two that brings in all of these great fighters.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
All right.
Yeah,
So, well, now tell us just a little bit about because I noticed there's a lot of ladies that are coming in here. Is it because of you, Coach Joseph? Hey Cox, come on, man. Show off that bicep.
No, there it is, right here. You know, there it is. Yes. Who knows? Whatever it is, they're coming in here and we're loving it.
All right. Well, we really appreciate everything that you do here for UFC Green Valley Gym, and it's a fun place to be at. So summertime, guys, check this place out. We'll see you next week on the show, and bother my host Jeremy Long, Mr. JGL. Follow him, The War Weekly. All right. Catch you guys later.